T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. I am your host, Driune, Santana, and of course, I am not alone. I have TK, Trinidad, the Canadian assassin. I got Queen Stephanie Hardy, and of course, Nickie Booshie, my tag team partner, obviously. How are you ladies doing on this beautiful Monday?
Can't complain. It's Monday.
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Y'all know I'll be late, but I'll be on time.
There you
but
go.
I'm late.
There
So if you guys are watching, thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm so happy to be a part of this panel because everybody knows how much of a fan I am of this woman. And today we're going to talk about her top 5 moments. DST, the roughest, the toughest, the strongest, the fastest, the best. The EST of WWE, the founder of the Girl Foundation, the I Go Here Now president, founder, CEO, whatever you want to call her, Bianca Belair. Nickie, you wrote this article about Bianca's top 5 moments. How she's had so many moments. So how did you narrow it down to 5?
So you know me being me, I love controversy. So these are my 5. I think it has a lot to do with the presence in the ring that she was given with the certain opponents that I chose, dynamic, story, just a different feel. Some matches that maybe have been forgotten about, and also taking a trip down the NXT lane to really remind these people of where the EST really began. So it was fun. It was hard, but we got through it. So.
I love that. As for you, like Stephanie and TK, I know you guys are huge fans of Bianca Belair. Like, what is it about Bianca that makes you a fan of her?
Okay, I'll go.
It's okay. You can go.
Obviously diversity is one thing, and I feel like WWE is doing it 70% correct when they're dealing with diversity opposed to the past. At first I always, and I've said this on other shows, I'm always kind of conflicted because a lot of great wrestlers are just amped up versions of themselves, but then it's like, you have people like WWE and other, companies kind of capitalizing on it. And so that kind of frustrates me because it's like you're capitalizing on something that just makes us unique. And then, so it's just kind of always a kind of a conflict of interest for me. But once I kind of settled into that, I was like, no, she's a star no matter where she goes, what she does. Like, she's going to be 75 and a star. Like, we already know what it is. I just, I've always said I felt like I discovered her, which I really didn't. But, I knew her when she was doing CrossFit, track, all this other stuff. And I kind of knew that no matter what she's going to do, it's just going to be another level. So I've always just been a fan because they took a little bit less of the stereotype out of it, opposed to, other wrestlers who are minorities. That makes sense.
Well, for me, in terms of why I love her, is just because she embodies so much confidence in who she is, and because she is just so proud of her heritage, which is something that fully resonates with me as a Black woman from the South as well. So just seeing her just gives me like a beam of pride, because she's just so confident in who she is, and because she worked so hard to get to where she is. And I just love just seeing her just embody all of everything that she has worked so hard, to achieve, and just to be exactly who she is and never change for anybody or shrink herself down for anyone as well. So that's why I love Bianca Belair.
I love that. I love that. So let's go ahead and jump right into these top five moments. Let's start at number five. This is where we pretty much everyone really got introduced to Bianca Belair. It was at the Mae Young Classics 2017 when she went up against Kairi Sane in the round two. When I tell you that I fell in love with this woman when she would do her, like, you know how they do like the intro and everything, you get to know a little more about her. And I was like, she has a presence. She looks like she can beat up anybody if she wants to. She can probably live me, and I wouldn't care. I probably like it anyway. But to just see how, although she did not win, but to see her dominance in this match, it allowed me to know that, okay, somewhere down the line, this won't be the last time we see Bianca Belair. What did you guys think about this match? But Nickie, let me ask you, why did you choose this to be your number five?
That's a good question. So I think Kairi Sane is a great example of an opponent that Bianca has had that's very different to what she is in the ring. Bianca has power. Kairi Sane has a little bit of more of a mental. So I love the dynamic. And starting off with this match is very important. As you said, Bianca Belair was kind of new to a lot of the WWE fans, people who tend to only watch WWE at one point and don't tend to spread off into the indies. But I think it's important to start with this match because we saw a side of Bianca that we don't really get to see anymore. We don't that fire, that super heel, that it just kicks off a good top five for Bianca. And I think she really was at the time like, this is Kairi Sane. And Kairi Sane was like, but this is Bianca Belair. You guys don't know, but I know. So I think this is a match that I love going back to reminisce on how great the Mae Young Classic has really brought women's wrestling in tournaments and bringing us new stars. So
R.I.P. Mae Young Classic, because
yes.
we ain't gonna see
Yeah,
it.
I wish they would bring it back. What about you, Stephanie? If you watched this match, how did you feel about it, even though Bianca did not win?
Well, to kind of go back in time, because it's been a while, like, but it's just the first time I saw her, I was just like, man, I want her to win. Like, I just really wanted her to win, even though I had never heard of her and I had never heard of Kairi Sane at that point. But, just seeing and watching the tournament and watching how Kairi, did wrestle in terms of more so of the skilled aspect of it. And then you had Bianca, who was still new, but then very powerful in a sense. It was just like I was wondering how these two were going to clash. And I just remember just feeling so impressed with her, and then disappointed when Bianca did lose. But she had such an attitude and such an aggression to her that I was just like, man, like, this is crazy. Like, I had never seen anything like that before. So to see her, stand up to somebody who was as accomplished as Kairi Sane and have that much confidence, in that, that was just really good. And I, enjoyed it for my first time ever seeing her. And even though she didn't win, I felt like maybe I was going to see her again. And we did. So it was a great, door open moment, to see her and what she had to offer, even though it was very early in her career. To stand up to somebody like Kyrie was cool.
What about you,
It's kind of
TK?
it's kind of crazy. It's almost like a trend now that you say that. Stephanie is like kind of like, we know she's a star, but I always kind of go back to like NXT. She should have got the belt. And I guess she still can, like, eventually. But it's just one of those things where I think it's like a
Not Nicki bringing up the belt.
that though. I think it's one of those. I think it's one of those things where it's just kind of like it's. I think I hope it's not going to be, but I almost see it like a trend. It's like she's deserving. She works for it. And even before the Mae Young Classic, if you go to like the WWE YouTube page, Triple H was like showcasing like her squatting 400 pounds, and like she was a highlight before Mae Young Classic. So we already knew, and you kind of know when you have Triple H's seal of approval, because if you go back and watch WWE and the videos that they put up as Performance Center and who they highlight, there's more people in the Performance Center, but you see Bianca's videos all the time, what she can lift, what she could do. So you already knew what it was. So I think it was a really great match, and it kind of speaks to being in like individual sports. Like, she ran track, she did CrossFit, both individual sports. So when you kind of have that, and now she's in the ring with somebody, you're going to see that rawness. And I agree with you, Stephanie, where it's just kind of like, I wouldn't say WWE tamed her, but it's kind of also think of like Leo Rush. It's like you could think of all these amazing things that they can do. But then it's just kind of like, calm down a little bit. Like, we're here for the long haul. So yeah, great match. Going back to the match, great match. I'm upset, period, whenever Bianca loses. Like, it's you shouldn't put me to like script anything, because it'd be like Bianca's gonna win. Yes, Bianca's gonna win again. Like, we don't. It's just like passing LeBron the ball. Like, there's no questions. That's just it. So that's definitely a bias, but yeah. R.I.P. Mae Young Classic. She did a great job, and it was. I feel like she deserved more before she even came to the main roster, but we'll talk more about that. But yeah, great entrance performance, and I definitely think I agree with you, Stephanie. People who didn't know of her, she stood out. Period. Like, she just found a way to stand out, which is is difficult to do in WWE. So kudos to her.
Yeah, she definitely stood out when she started beating Kairi Sane with this braid down. When I said this, girl, I was like, Bianca, wait, I feel like I'm getting hit too. I thought it was me getting hit. But I mean, that we got introduced to Bianca, utilizing the braid from like the very, very first time we saw it. I like it. I don't care who she beat with it. I'm cool with it. Right. So into number 4, we have Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship match at TakeOver Portland. This match here, I have to say, it was really, really good. You have someone's stature of like Rhea Ripley, who's strong herself, and then you got Bianca Belair, her stature. They had a lot of chemistry in this ring, and I love seeing them work together. I love seeing them infused together. I mean, it's not their first time, but this match here, this is like what Bianca's first time getting her chance to, get a chance to attempt to capture the NXT women's title that Nicki is holding up. Nicki, why did you choose this to be your number 4?
Listen, there's some coincidence that's going to happen at the end of this when I get done. The reason why it's a number 4 is very subtle. So we have to remember how dominating both of these women are in NXT. I really genuinely thought this was Bianca's moment. But if we all remember, Rhea's next opponent shows up at the end of the match, which is her WrestleMania opponent, Charlotte Flair. So to me, this match is all about the story. There is nothing that drives me more in this match than anticipating and wanting to know who is really going to WrestleMania. Because at this point, Bianca could have easily went over. There was nothing that was stopping Rhea from losing, because we all knew that at that time in NXT, if Rhea was there, she was always going to be in a title picture, and she was always going to be looked at as a top 3. With Bianca, it was a little different. Even though we knew her dominance, I think it was kept a secret almost until this match. And I think this is the match where she pushes Rhea to the limit. And then later we see one of the women who built the NXT women's division herself Charlotte Flair. So
I definitely agree. And can we talk about like Bianca's outfit though that she had on too though?
yes,
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
well, excuse Rhea Ripley's outfit, but however, we look at Bianca Belair's gear. Black History Month, like Bianca, she does some amazing. Like her gear is always top tier, no matter what is going on. Her gear is absolutely amazing. I don't know how she comes up with it. Like, where does she get her inspiration from? There's a lot of questions I have to ask. But TK, about this match with Rhea and Bianca, and then we know who comes out at the end after the fact.
Shout out to Bianca because sewing stretchy material is a situation. And most seamstress don't like. Well, my dad was a tailor, so like I kind of know like the sewing thing. He avoided that stuff. He's like, I don't. Nah. So shout to her doing it week in, week out because it feels like she has an outfit every week. That was a great match. Again, I think we can all like I think I can speak for everybody on the panel. We just all wanted Bianca to win, like period. So I think I kind of knew I saw the trend of her just not winning because it's like they put her in that picture so often and then it's just kind of like, oh well, she's not going to win this one. So you kind of saw the trend, so you kind of knew something big was going to happen. That was just a great, they're two great opponents and I definitely hope to see them in the main roster. Again, we did discuss, or some of us did discuss, the WWE releases. I don't think they're done. I think there's more coming. So I think once they dwindle down or whatever they're doing, it's knock on wood. I don't think it's Bianca, but I think once they kind of get down to whatever their bare bones is, I think there's going to be some really great matches with some great people. Hopefully, if they're not letting go of like everybody, which is possible. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Stephanie, what about you?
Well, I remember watching the build up for this match and just wanting Bianca, like TK said, to win the whole time. Because this was actually, I believe, her second time because she did face off against Shayna Baszler at one point for the NXT Women's title too. And she wound up not being successful because I remember that first time, that was when Sam Roberts notoriously said all that stuff that he said about Bianca and Montez wanted to fight him and all that other stuff. But aside from that,
now, anyway, so because he was the only one who wanted to fight, line him up to this date, okay?
Right, but like I was saying, like this is her second time going for the title, and I just remember like Bianca's outfit that said Black History in the Making just taking my breath away. And this was around the time I actually started my podcast first, the Hardy Wrestling Podcast, and it inspired me so much that I actually named one of my early episodes after that phrase. And I just remember just feeling so inspired just looking at her even going forth with that match and just wanting her to win so badly because to me with Rhea, she was so imposing and so dominant, but I knew that Bianca had what it took to actually possibly, carry NXT, to the next level if that was the case. Sadly, it wasn't because they were going with the whole Charlotte thing. And I remember how all the fans at the time were really pushing for a triple threat between the three, even though it wound up turning out to be okay in the grand scheme of life and how everything turned out to be within this year. It was just, I just remember just wanting her to win just so very badly because I knew she had what it took. But when she lost, my heart was broken. I kind of just hated how they sort of just tossed her away, even though she was going to the main roster, which she found out that night. It was just like, dang, like why couldn't you just let her win the title? But but I kind of, go under the mindset of just because you might not win the NXT Women's title does not necessarily mean that you won't be successful. Because if you look at people like Becky Lynch, she didn't win the NXT Women's title, and look at her. And then when you see someone like Alexa Bliss, she never won the NXT Women's title, and then look at her. So, I mean, it's okay. It wasn't okay. Then it really wasn't okay because we were really rooting hard for her. But at the same time, it wound up being okay because it's not like it stopped any of her success or any of her growth. So, but the match itself was fantastic. And I remember just being impressed with the both of them and wanting to see them fight again. So maybe one day we'll get it.
Yeah, of course. I say this match it was great, but when you speak of Black history in the making, I mean this next moment, top three moment, has to be solidified Bianca Belair as that star. The top three moment is Bianca Belair winning the Women's Royal Rumble 2021. I mean, this moment here, I screamed to the top of my lungs because this is the first time we had a Black woman win the Women's Royal Rumble, and the second Black person, unless people want to include The Rock, um, to win the. I always say that because you know everybody be trying to figure whatever, but still, I just with her winning that moment for her, it. I don't even think she knew she was gonna win, and it makes it so much better because you can see the true emotions inside of her. You can see how her parents react at home. Dad almost slipped over the couch. This ain't the first time he almost fell over something. But, just see that moment for her and seeing how she went backstage and she embraced Montez, her husband, after the fact. Everything about that moment, it was meant to happen. Although people try to downplay it and say, "Oh, her foot touched the ground," whatever. By anybody trying to hear that, don't even do that. Y'all ain't doing nobody else. Y'all ain't
Bye,
doing
try to
nobody
fight.
else. Okay, don't even try to. Like you can't take this moment away from her. Nickie. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory why you chose to be number three. But if you have anything else to add, go right ahead.
One of my favorite Royal Rumble moments of all time is actually when Bianca finishes eliminating, I believe it's Alexa Bliss. It wasn't the one she won, but it was the one
Yeah,
before.
2020.
And she's in the ring, and they call Charlotte, and Charlotte's comes ushering down, and Bianca's just looking at her like, I've been waiting on this moment for so long, like us to get into that ring. And it brings me to the win because this year it was so heartfelt. It was so needed. And I think that we talk about this all the time on Clubhouse. In September, we knew that we wanted Bianca and Sasha at WrestleMania. We knew that. Like that was a dead giveaway. Like we didn't care. We wanted Bianca to win the Royal Rumble, and whoever, if she wasn't, on a different brand, then they could win the Royal Rumble and let her go face Sasha. We knew we wanted that. And I think what makes it so special is that Bianca really got her moment. This is one of those, I don't need the NXT women's title. I don't need anything that I did in NXT. I'm here. I'm doing this. I've won. I'm really tussling and getting wins now over solidified stars. I am a solidified stars. That's why they always love the whole rookie thing, and we'll get into that later. But yeah, I love this. I really love this.
Stephanie or TK, which one y'all want to go?
I think did we cover that? Did we do the watch along, Stephanie?
No, not for that one. I wasn't gonna watch along for that one.
There was
I
one
was
of them
gonna
that
watch
you were
along for
crying
another
at.
moment.
I can't remember that
It
one.
wasn't for the Royal Rumble because
Okay.
I was at my boyfriend's house for that one, so
Okay.
it was a lot. But do you want to go or should I go?
You can go.
Okay, so when it comes to this moment, like I said, I was at my boyfriend's house, and I remember wanting her to win so bad that I could just feel it in my teeth. And it was just like, and I was just watching it and watching it and watching it, and it was like for every moment, that it looked like her feet were about to touch the floor, or where it looked like somebody tried to knock her out of the ring, is almost like my heart stopped. And I was just like, oh my God, like, please don't let her. No, like, because I remember that SmackDown before, she had spoke it and said to Kayla, like, I won this match, like she had won a match against somebody at SmackDown. And then she told Kayla Braxton that she wanted, to win the Royal Rumble. And in my heart of hearts, I was like, I hope she wins, but I hope that her winning on this SmackDown isn't just a prerequisite for her losing on Sunday. And because sometimes that's how it be. And when it didn't go that way and she wound up winning, like that, just I was screaming so loud, like super loud when it happened. I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. I was just losing my mind. And then to make matters worse, like I mean, not worse, but for the best, because in a full circle moment, it was her, and then it was Rhea and Charlotte as the final three. And I just remember that whole thing, with the whole NXT thing and how everybody felt so passionate about her being sort of tossed out of that NXT women's title picture just for it to be Rhea versus Charlotte. And I remember how passionate everybody was about that. So to see them be the final three, and then to see these two women who are basically representative of the future of the women's division, get rid of Charlotte, and then it'd be those two left, and then for Rhea to look like she was about to get the upper hand, only for Bianca to clothesline her out. I was like, praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. It was it. And I was just so happy. I was so happy. It was just so wonderful. And I was so proud of her.
Oh, Stephanie. Oh, you're amazing. I mean, I retweet everything. I retweet everything she said. It's just one of those things where I often say this: WWE does not care about your feelings. Like, it's one of those things where it's like you want her to win, but I always kind of, I guess that's why if you watch our watch-alongs, I'm always kind of like 60%, because it's like y'all ain't gonna send my blood pressure up and down. Like, you ain't doing that to me. Like, I already know how you guys are. So it's just like I was just waiting. And I'm so happy to see that, because she's deserving of it. I think the main thing of this, and any top 5 that we do, is it's that these people are deserving of it. They worked hard to get to this to this position. So but then the next thing in my head is like, okay, well, you guys gave her this, so what are you gonna do to send her back down the hill? Because WWE likes to do that too. And I'm never one to think of, I'm always thinking, ahead. I'm never one to stay in the present. But it was that moment is like, enjoy it. But I'm like, all right, what are they gonna do now? Like, how are they gonna F her up? Like, how? It's just one of those things, because they just don't be treating us right, man. Like, that's a whole nother article.
PTSD, TK.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. I think Sarah the Rebel said it's like, and I hate to use this reference because it's like, it's, over the top, but it's like an abusive boyfriend. Like, we just keep coming back. Like, they just keep, like, we keep watching the show. We keep coming back, and it's like, all right, y'all. But I am glad, well, up until SummerSlam this year, that's a whole mess. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent.
Why are you trying to you give me more PTSD now?
That's what I'm saying. I'm always forward thinking, like, even to the point of certain things, like, we want to see, which I don't know if we're going to get to see, like a Naomi and Bianca match. Like, all these things that somebody who has this much talent, it's just kind of like, they're just banking on the fact that either, they're going to have her signed for a long period of time, which is possible, but you never know. Like, nothing in life is guaranteed. So it's like, give us these moments and, give her the NXT title. So, like, I don't know, just do it by, this is what you deserve, so we're just going to give it to you. Like, one of those things. I don't know, but it was all a great moment, and it was forward thinking too. We all knew that eventually she was going to get the belt. We just wanted her to have the belt for life. So, we know that hopefully she will get the belt again, hopefully. But we all knew this was the trajectory. If you watch all the videos, this was the trajectory of what's going to happen. You just didn't know when, which is harking back to, WWE just likes to pull on our heartstrings. But great moment, thus, nonetheless.
I definitely agree. And speaking of other moments, like, now we're at the part where Bianca's won the Royal Rumble. We're all trying to figure out she's going to go after Asuka, the Raw Women's Champion, or she's going to go down to the boss, the blueprint, the standard, the conversation, the Mandalorian princess, Sasha Banks. She got a lot of names going on. She got a lot of names.
Yes.
I keep up with it. Figure out who she's going to go. She kind of teased a little bit with Asuka, but we really wanted Sasha and Bianca. I don't care what they try to do with Bianca and Asuka. That's great. Y'all know we want Sasha and Bianca. Y'all know this. And so we finally got it. But we didn't know if this match was going to be main eventing. Mm-hmm. She already selected, she says, Sasha is on. WrestleMania, I want you. Like, let's go ahead and make history. Let's go ahead and do this. As two black women, let's go ahead and do this. And it finally happened. So we get into the top two. The second top two moment of Bianca Belair. It's Sasha Banks versus Bianca at WrestleMania this year. Main eventing. History happens again. We get two black women. First time ever main event at WrestleMania for considered to be a world champion. And we finally got it. Although the build up was not that great, there was a lot that could have happened even better. They try to make them best friends. They try to make them win the tag team titles. I don't know why they do that when it comes to like tag. I don't know why they like to put everybody who's a challenger and a champion to be in a tag team together. That's so stupid. I wanted them to go. I wanted every time they see each other, it's on site. I wanted them to fight every chance they got. But they didn't. They didn't do. They really hurt my feelings. So, but all in all, the match was great. So, Nickie, this is your top two moment.
So it's funny that you bring up the story because that's what landed it at number 2 and not 1. Is the lack of story.
Oh, did we lose her?
Am I back?
You're back. We can hear you.
So there was always a backstory that we knew as fans, but the one thing that for me doesn't make her top moment is the lack of story. As much as Sasha and Bianca built something at WrestleMania, becoming the main event, being the first black women, that's so monumental to the point where they robbed us of a story. They almost robbed us of having a moment of a feud. There are still a lot of things that are left to be unsaid and undone between Sasha and Bianca. So for me, I cried at this moment. There was just I remember looking at Sasha and looking at Bianca and then not even being able to hold it in at this moment and really understanding the significance of representation and seeing how, what this moment meant for someone. I myself, like Bianca, is from East Tennessee. We actually went to rival high schools. So for me, being a Tennessee native, having a black woman be able to compete in main event on the biggest stage of them all, like this was a moment. But I go back to this and I always say that I wish there would have been just a little more story that those writers or that team could have just been like, you know what, let's start this the night after Royal Rumble. We have to tell significant story, but they didn't. And that's my only, and that's why I say I love controversy, because I know people like, oh, that's Sasha and Bianca's number one moment, but is it? But is it? So great moment though.
Yeah, it is.
This is why I think, again, we can all agree why you need representation all around. Because you could have created such an amazing story. And apparently they do have 2 black female writers, but I don't know if they're writing for them. I don't know what's happening. It's like they hired them and they I don't know. It was one of those situations where they, I don't know where they are. But they could have done so much amazing things. Like I'm thinking of, and it's a different promotion, but like with Ruby Soho and Britt Baker, and they're essentially like doing the dozens. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things that they could have gone back and forth out versus just saying the rookie. Like, you could have done the rookie, yeah, but there are so many other things that you could have talked about on top of that would have made it just like, I love good storylines where you say 1 or 2 liners and you just kind of feel it a little bit like, oh, that hurt. I'm glad that wasn't me. Like, when Ronda Rousey was talking about Nickie and the whole job, like, it was just like, oh, that, okay, like, give me something that can that versus like, yes, it's 2 black women, and I think they were just hanging their hat on that. Like, it's 2 black women, y'all should be happy. We're not gonna put any that's the story. But there's so much more to that. We're so much more evolved, and the problem with that is that if you're not familiar with the culture or even the ladies, because they have a lot of people on that roster, then you're just gonna throw something together, and now. Yes, that is an amazing moment. However, it could have been so much bigger. Like, they could have Sasha could have brought her husband into it. Like, there's so many angles that they could have done and talked about. And, you know, they just left it. They just let, oh, you a rookie. Like, come on now. That's the easy way. Like, you know, give me something else. Like, I know, and I'm sure both of them had something else. If anything, I'm sure Bianca had something else. So, unfortunate, but hopefully, I don't know. I'm thinking WWE is going to be making a turn for the better with storylines. So hopefully we're going to see some other things coming down the pipe.
Well, this is kind of hard because TK, this was where we did the watch along and I cried.
This is
and
when you started crying, but I feel like you cry all the time.
Exploded into a mountain of tears. To go from the beginning though, Nickie, I understand, you know, your sentiment for making it number 2 because that storyline, you know, they had, it was not the greatest. And I actually addressed this a couple weeks ago on someone's show. Like, it was not the greatest build up towards their match. But I will say this though, considering this match was history making in the sense that you had 2 Black women facing each other, you know, for the first time, and they're standing on the shoulders of so many giants. I feel like them creating something out of nothing basically represented what Black Girl Magic is as a whole. We take lemons and make lemonade. And they made the best lemonade out of that situation, and that match turned out to be everything that it could have been. I sometimes at random moments I go back and watch that match just to feel good inside, because it was just beautiful to see these 2 women. You have Sasha, who's like a ring general and who I consider to be the GOAT of women's wrestling at this point. And she's just, you know, a great athlete. She's just an all-around, you know, student of the game. Like, she never stops upping her game and she never stops evolving as an athlete. And then you have Bianca, who's looking to prove herself and show that she's not just a flash in the pan, that she's not just a rookie, that all these people just kind of just dismiss all the time. And even now, you still have people who are a part of that 4 horsewomen group who are still trying to make it seem like, oh, she's just a rookie. And she's just, you know, all of this, but yet you have to spend all this time cheating to beat her. It's just, no. Like, this match was everything it was supposed to be, even with the lack of story. And I agree with TK that there need to be more women backstage writing stories for the women because, you know, we understand each other. But I will say that the match was beautiful, and there are just certain parts in the match, like even when they were facing each other after that, even on SmackDown before the draft, there were pieces of when they were tagging together, and there were pieces from that match that they even put in that one. And it's just like, I just feel like that should be one of the matches of the year, even though I know a lot of people bring up so many different matches that have happened over the course of a couple of months over match of the year. But that one should definitely be it, simply because of the fact that they brought their A game. Bianca's power, Sasha's prowess in the ring. You just couldn't go wrong with that at all. So it was Black Girl Magic personified, and I was proud of Bianca for winning and having that moment and celebrating and looking at her mom and saying, Mama, I did it, and all this other stuff, and celebrating with her husband, who's just the embodiment of support for your spouse. So it was beautiful.
I definitely have to agree. I mean, of course, I had to bring this out because this is the only reason why I got this.
Y'all definitely tag team partners. Y'all.
This title because, I mean, the reason why I got it was because Bianca Belair held it. You know what I'm saying? So it looks good on me. So, but I would have to say, like, when I watched that match, I honestly did not. There was something like, oh, I want Bianca to win so much. At this point, I didn't know who was going to win. There was so much chaos going on that night where it was like, oh, you know, sometimes when they have Royal Rumble winners, they don't always win.
Right.
They don't always win. And with Bianca, I wanted this so much for her because I felt like she deserved it. And Sasha Banks, she's worked so hard, and we cannot discredit her for the work that she has done as well. to the point where her and Bianca together in that match that was the story there for me. It was a lot of chemistry. You can tell that they're really, really good friends. You can tell that Sasha was so happy that she lost that belt to Bianca. I don't think she would have felt the way that she felt even after that hard lick from that braid that was heard around the world. Cause I mean, I thought it was, like I said, I thought it was me getting hit, and we saw the scar and whatnot. But with this match, it was everything, and even bigger than WrestleMania. It won them an ESPY. Like they're it won them an ESPY. Like that moment was after the fact was everything. And I feel like their moment on their road to SummerSlam was so much better. But we're not gonna get into it because I'm gonna get PTSD all again. But still, that moment after the fact, I felt like that was that moment for Sasha and Bianca. But hey, Survivor Series coming up. They gotta cross paths in that ring again. So who knows? It may not be a singles match, but it'll be something. It'll be something. But however, let's go ahead and jump into the number one moment that was selected by Nickie. This moment here, this match here, I would have to say the story itself was everything. I mean, as soon as Bayley turned heel, it was a new era of Bayley. She was no longer the hugger. She was the anti. She was a role model. She was hello ding dong, laughing in everybody's face courageously. I mean, she laughed at Bianca. I don't know how many times she laughed at Bianca. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was in the middle of a scary movie or something with all these laughs popping up on the Thunderdome screen or whatever. But I will say that this was a really, really good match, and Bianca needed this win. She's already on her run of defeating all the 4 horsewomen. At this time, I mean, if we count the disqualification with the whole Charlotte thing, Bianca won. So I guess they're going to count that. So she's already beaten 3 of the 4 horsewomen. She still got Becky left, but she's going to get her. But we're going to get into the number 1 spot, which is Bianca Belair and Bayley at Hell in a Cell. I know that they wrestled at WrestleMania Backlash. But, Nickie, why did you choose the Hell in a Cell match for them?
Well, if Bianca wants to be the best, as she says, she has to beat the best. And these 4 horsewomen are the best. Bayley is probably one of the best wrestlers, arguably out of women, honestly. Bayley has had the same technique and ring ability that matches Bianca from the day she started in NXT. They have a very similar start and begin in NXT. They have a very similar rise to the main roster, not being looked at. When Bianca started on Raw, she wasn't really getting it like that. Bayley was getting it, but she wasn't getting it like that. They were so similar, and the chemistry is unmatched. They were given time. They were giving a lot of momentum. And when you get into a Hell in a Cell, you have to think that before this time, and we love to talk about history, but sometimes we forget this. Bianca is the first woman to be in the Hell in a Cell match that isn't a 4 horsewoman. And she's also won. So this kind of stumped Bayley because Charlotte's gotten hers, Becky's gotten hers, Sasha's gotten hers, and the story was being built that Bayley was going to get hers, and it wasn't. And I think that beyond the story, the dynamic and the chemistry that these two have is mind blowing. I remember watching this match and not even realizing that the hell was even there. Like, I was just like, where are they at this point? Like, they have lost. They have just went into a realm, and they are just like at each other's throats. And I think, and Santana made this point, this, in my opinion, was the most, if not, is going to be the most solidified win for Bianca. And it is because she left WrestleMania and then she retained. So it allowed a moment for her. She didn't just lose the title like some of the other horsewomen have in the past. So she's really, and I give this number 1 too now because honestly, with Bayley's absence, Bianca's almost the alternate. So
I agree. Stephanie and TK, any words?
Um, yes and no. I do agree that it was a great moment. Um, However, I would have definitely, and this is, I mean, for y'all who don't know, I'm a terrible writer, so this is why I don't write articles. I would have definitely I would have definitely flip flopped it, just because of the significance of Sasha and Bianca. However, I think another thing, you know, we should do a top five for Bailey. Another thing that we have to talk about is that Bailey kind of was one of the people who carried the Thunderdome era, which was a hard era to, like, you know, think about, like, for my people who are like non-hosts, for my people who are hosts, like, think about you just by yourself. Stephanie did it the other day. That stuff's not easy. You by yourself talking to a computer to people in the world, but they can't, like, you know, they're not really. That's a whole thing. So now if you're used to thousands of people, or, you know, in a stadium, and now they're all gone, and now you just talking to air, like, that's, so we have to definitely give Bailey her roses. That was just a minor out there, but it was definitely a really great moment. But I think when people think about moments with Bianca, um, beyond the matches in itself, because they do definitely have similar styles, I think they're gonna talk about the Sasha Bianca first. So that's the only thing, but, you know, that's, like, it's just it's my opinion, and I didn't write the article because Nikki's a way better writer than I am. So y'all don't want to see. I got fired from all my writing jobs. That's how bad I am. So I really do like this moment. I would just have flip flopped it. But the Hell in the Cell, yeah, not too many women can say that they've been in the Hell in the Cell. Like, that's, Bianca has collected so many number ones, and, like, so much stuff in the last 2 years compared to, and this is also harkened to opportunities. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of women, because we're just talking about the women now, that can do the things that Bianca is doing, but they're not given those opportunities. So it's a combination of the two. So it's like the fact that Bianca's getting those opportunities and she's hitting it out of the park every single time is, like, amazing. Because there could have been someone who has the they have the talent like Bianca, but they can't pull it off all the way around. So definitely a great moment, and, you know, let's give Bailey her flowers for that as well. But great moment too.
I was now for this match. Like I said, I understand why Nicki um made Sasha and Bianca number two. With this being number one, though, I will say in this performance with the match, I was worried because Bianca had never been in a situation like that before. Like, she had always wrestled just regular matches. Like, we had never seen her have like a special stipulation match before. So I was just like, now Bailey's a four horsewoman. She's been in this situation before. All these other women, all these other four horsewomen have been in this situation before. So what's gonna happen with Bianca? Like, what is it? And she performed and did so well and rose to the occasion in such a way that I was just like, okay, and I wasn't worried no more. So I was just like, okay, well, this is good then. And she wound up, you know, for everything that Bailey was trying to do to her and torture her, it was almost like Bianca, you know, just came up with something that was 10 times as worse to try to punish her as well. So they were punishing each other, and I was really happy that Bianca came out with the win, because it's like you said, Santana, sometimes you go into a match like this after WrestleMania and you wind up, you know, not winning, and it winds up going back to, you know, a more, I guess they think, substantial person. But she retained here, and I was really happy to see that. So yeah, it's like we all said, it's just like she's, you know, checking off the list of all of the four horsewomen, and she could beat, and she beat Bailey here. So that's something that she can always put on her cap forever. So that being number one, I totally get it. You know, in terms of Nicki making that list. Even though I understand TK's point too, but I understand Nicki's point as well. So it was good. And plus Bianca and Bailey had, a better story, and they actually drew it out for a long period of time too. Like they were feuding for months, and they were supposed to fight at Money in the Bank, but sadly Bailey got injured. So I feel like there's probably more to them that we haven't seen yet either. But we don't know where Bailey's going because I don't know what she drafted to Raw.
She's going to Raw.
She going to
Bailey is going to Raw. I'm already putting it out there in the universe.
Yeah,
Bailey's gonna pop up on
We've
Raw.
never had
Bailey's gonna pop up at the Royal Rumble. Let's go ahead. Bailey's gonna be at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And that's that. Mark my word, Bailey's gonna be at Royal Rumble, or she's gonna show up at the night after Royal Rumble on Raw. Because that's what she's gonna be drafted at. And her and Bianca gonna finish off where they left off at, or she may go after Becky, someone who she really never had a proper feud with.
And a lot of people say that Sasha gives people their best matches, so I wanted to showcase that Bailey actually might do that a little better, depending on who you are. I love the chemistry that Sasha and Bianca have, but it's not on the same level as Bianca and Bailey to me. I think, and it's not their fault. They've just had more opportunities, right. and I love that. And there's like it's magic when Bailey and Bianca get together. It's almost like I'm looking at the same wrestler almost. So
question: do we ever think that we're gonna see a Naomi Bianca match?
It needs to happen, and if it does happen, I want.
That's a hard one.
Either of them to be heel. I don't care who is heel. I want either one. I want either one of them to be heel.
I want Naomi.
I agree with you, Nicki. Yeah, I want Naomi. It's time for Naomi.
But look how
like a year ago. Okay, I could see either one, but now it's like, come on, like it's so funny because Stephanie and I went to St. Louis. And Stephanie said something like, because you see Stephanie, she's like nice, and then she said something like, "Oh, don't get it twisted now." Like I'm from Alabama, I was like, "Oh, my bad." Like I feel like this is we all know, and I'm the same way. It's like there's a certain point you get to, like you meet those people who are like just chill, and then you hit a certain point, and it's like, no, I don't know what you thought it was, but that's not what's happening. That's where, if the writing is correct. And I'm hoping it is. I think you talked about it on, you posted it on social media, Santana, where she, Naomi had her shoes and said she's like, something's changing or something like that. If it's correct, there's going to be a moment where she turns heel. And I think that, I would love to see Naomi and Bianca match to have a feud before then, but this is where we are. And I think this is where it'd be like, a lot of the opportunities that Bianca has gotten, Naomi could have got too. And she wasn't afforded those opportunities.
That is true.
So if I were Naomi, I'd be like, I'm happy for you, but Trick, it's my time now. Like, get in the bag.
There's definitely a story there though, because in an interview, Bianca actually talks about her seeing Naomi, and then Naomi talks about how her seeing Alicia Fox. So it is. There's so much story there with them in the background and behind the sings. But y'all already know, Bianca got some unfinished business with the Queen. Like, let's not beyond the four horsewomen. She has to at least beat all four of them in her career. It has to happen, and it could happen quicker than we think. I personally, and I've always said this, she needs to finish up with Becky. She needs to just throw that on with that. And then with Charlotte, she really needs to let it be known that, Charlotte, I've been on your coattail for a while now. I'm one of the few girls you ran down to NXT, and you got an L over me, but we got unfinished business. Like that's the feud that I like. I can't wait because there's.
Is she still around? Because we don't know if Charlotte's gonna be around.
Yeah, that is true.
Listen, if it's still gonna go, let it go. They need her more than she needs them at this point.
Yeah, but in terms of Naomi and Bianca, like that would be fire too, because a lot of what
Mhm.
Naomi, has done and set the precedent for what Bianca is doing currently now. And then I remember how they were in the Royal Rumble and how they worked together to keep each other in the match. Like that was an underrated moment that I feel like a lot of people didn't talk about that much. But can you even imagine them being united and then all of a sudden one of them decide to hit each other in the head? And then they have a few, like, I can't even imagine. Like, I would love it if it was Naomi, but I couldn't even imagine if it was Naomi. Like, if Bianca did it, I would believe it, but I wouldn't know who to root for.
Oh my god, yeah. No,
I'm
it
rooting
has
for
to be. It
everybody.
has to be Naomi.
I
Like, I
just
I'm
mean,
don't
rooting
I'm
for
know.
sure. I'm
everybody.
sure you all see, and we have to do a top five on Naomi too. I'm sure we'll all be on the panel doing Naomi, but like you
Definitely.
all see it. Like, I'm sure you guys watch it like day in day out when you see Naomi and them disrespecting Naomi, and you're just like,
Do you
do
want
you
me
need
to
me to
fight
pull
Nicki?
up?
We've had
Yes, do you
some
need me to pull
interesting.
Go to the drive down there.
I
Okay.
say this
Set
every
me
week,
up.
and I even have to get on my personal page when I'm live tweeted and say, honestly, what is
up?
this? What has this storyline done for her?
Right,
And not to
nothing.
steer away, but to be honest, it's another week, and it's like, do you know who this woman is? Like, this is not clicking in the magnitude that I believe that you guys think. And now with the teams being announced, she's not on the teams. So it's like, here we are. You
What are we
know,
doing?
what are we doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Make
I
us
I'm
a
feel like
damn
they're
waiting.
always trying to
moment.
find something. They're always trying to find
Right.
something like something like I'm not understanding. Like, why is y'all trying to downplay the two-time SmackDown Women's Champion? Please stop
Exactly. That's
playing
more
with her.
championships than
Okay,
Sonya has ever won.
Sonya never touched a
If we're
belt a day
being
in her life.
frank,
Okay, the only belt she touched is when she tightened up her pants. That's the only belt she touched, or probably ever gonna touch a day in
exactly,
her life. Point blank,
exactly.
period.
Sonya the Karen needs to sit down.
Please, okay.
Hmm.
But we're child PTSD all over again. Jesus Christ.
sorry. Yeah, but we need to something needs to happen. Like, Naomi should just be
Definitely.
like, look, f this. I'm wrecking shop. I don't care if y'all fire me. Like, I ain't doing nothing anyway. Like,
Like, did
I
Sonya forget the beatdown that she gave her and Mandation? I mean, Mandy Rose, a few years
Look,
ago. Did she
look,
forget? Did she forget?
look.
think
I
she
was
did.
there for that. I was there for that when that happened. That was in Birmingham. And I remember just hollering, like just yelling at Naomi to beat her up because I was in the hotel up the street from the arena. Like I remember that. That was crazy.
Like,
Oh my
child, she
god.
just forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, we went through this top five moments of Bianca Belair pretty quickly. I mean, it was a great list. Nicki, I was here with Nicki when she was doing the top five, and I already knew with her number two spot, she had already said she was trying to start some controversy by doing what she did. So everybody fell into it. So whatever. But I would have to ask you guys within these top five moments, was there anything that you feel that could have made the list or been like some honorable mentions or anything? What do you think?
Um, Gosh, I think you hit it. I mean, I think the article was came out before she did like the one-handed press with Sasha. Um, I might have included that, but like you definitely like hit it. Like, those are really great moments, and I wish that I don't necessarily know if WWE is gonna go. Actually, I know they're not gonna go that way because of how they're positioning themselves. But I would like to see some intergender matches. Like, I'd want to see that because like she can go. So that's more like hopes. But as far as the top five, you already know I would have flip flopped that one and two. I already know I fell for the trap. But yeah, I think you hit it all.
I appreciate it. I will say this: Shayna Baszler, what did get that match with Shayna Baszler? You did mention that one, so I would say that would be a good honorable mention. I just think uh, Bianca didn't get to breathe in that match. That match bothers me sometimes. Shayna was like
On her.
on her on that match, so that's why I was like, maybe for Shayna, but not for Bianca.
Well, I have two. Well, I have two moments. Even though the list was perfection, um, I believe the two moments I think of is Bianca retaining the SmackDown Women's title at Rolling Loud. I think that was a good moment because she was able to be exposed to a whole nother audience that might not have ever really paid that much attention to wrestling before. And I appreciated that so much because wrestling and hip hop go together. And then number two, I would say maybe her being voted number one on PWI. But yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I might have to agree. But to that one arm press she did on Sasha Banks, if we had gender matches, I need Bianca and Otis to be in a match because she
Yes,
carried him on her back. I need to see her do that to that man. If Bianca can do that to that man, she don't have to worry about me saying nobody ever in their life even try to come for that woman. That woman is strong. Okay, like
yes.
I probably would have felt me and Otis would have rolled over. My knees would have gave out. I'm sorry. My knees would have gave out. My knees would and no, no, no. This is not gonna work for me. No, not today. I'll be at home somewhere in a wheelchair with a neck brace on, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with myself. Like automatically. But I have to say, like this list was amazing. Nickie, you did a great job. I'm ready to see your next top five. We already know what it is, but you guys don't know yet. We're not going to tell you either.
Oh damn!
So,
I want to know. I
Oh
see the
my
calendar.
God.
I was like, what is it?
what we can say, she
What we
did
can't
hold
say
this
is
title.
she held that, and
Okay.
she's a part of the four. And we also got some stuff. I got some stuff I'm working on. Kind of like wanted to do some stuff with Impact because I know how it is with them, and they're always dominating when it comes to the women's division. So a little article on the rise of Tasha Steelz. Be on the lookout for that. So I'm really excited, and top fives are so fun. Like, and I think Mickie James is coming out. Somebody's got Mickie James coming out next week, so she's our current 4-time Knockouts champion. So I think that would be, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be an interesting panel.
It is. It really is. But yeah, before we get out of here, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching us do this top five panel on Bianca Belair, the ESC of the rough of the table. Okay, I'm not gonna do it no more. But I just love doing it. I love when she does it. It makes me feel happy. But yeah, we thank each and every one of you for joining us on today. We had so many people. Well, a lot of the wrestling classic, but he's only here for Sasha Banks anyway. So.
I mean,
Yeah.
at least he here. I see you tweeting. Shout out to Wrestling Class. You on Twitter. He was on IG.
Shout out
He
to
was in the chat.
shout out to the Wrestling
Yes.
Classic. They support women's wrestling. Me and my tag partner, we just did a show with them yesterday. Like on all the releases we talked about, and that's why I brought up Impact. We did talk about what this release will do for Impact's division. And what this can do for women's wrestling. So
Yes.
the Wrestling Classic does a great job showcasing a lot of the women, and he shows a lot of love to the wrestling, women's wrestling talk. So shout out to them.
Yeah. Okay. Robert. Shout out to Robert for being here. Shout out for King Sammy, one of our writers. Sammy is in the building with us. We thank each and every one of you guys for joining us on today. Let everyone know where they can find you at. Starting with you, Nickie. Where can everyone find you at?
I'm pretty simple. I like to be low key, but you can catch me on Instagram, Nickie Bougie. You can also catch me on Twitter, ranting. If you guys want to catch
Did you
me,
say low key? For real?
low key, very much. I'm very
Okay.
low key on Instagram.
All right.
Twitter, I'm not. But you can catch me on Twitter. I'm one of the biggest Charlotte Flair marks you're gonna meet on this internet. Okay, so if you want some good Charlotte history, come see me on Twitter, Nickie_Bougie. Or other than that, I'm writing some pretty
Fire
lengthy and
articles.
fun articles. Thank you. Shout out to TK the GOAT. Shout out to Santana. Shout out to Stephanie. I see you doing your thing too. Cause we already know. But yeah, you can catch me on Women's Wrestling Talk, writing some articles that I feel like are so necessary. We gotta make sure we show love to our women that are busting it out and getting that TV time, but also in the indies and everywhere and trying to make that money, but trying to get that brand out there. So yeah.
Right? TKU, or should I let the founder go last? I'm gonna let the founder go last.
Yeah, low key. I mean, I was on your Instagram like today, and I mean, if that's low key, then I mean,
Listen, I ain't made a
okay.
post in a couple months. I just be on my
I
story.
mean, but those selfie game. Sorry, that's a total tangent. My bad. Sorry. Yeah. Y'all can be the judge for yourself. Go on Nickie's IG, and then you all, judge this low key. I mean, I don't think it is, but my bad. All right, sorry, Steph. You can go.
Okay, so if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Queen Steph Hardy, and you can follow me on Instagram at Hardy Wrestling Podcast, and on Twitter at Hardy Wrestle Pod. And just please listen to my show, the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. I just posted my 80th episode called I Think Therefore I Am. Please listen to that. I got news and gossipish, and I also started this new series called Wrestling Stars Fell on Alabama, where I highlight wrestlers from the state of Alabama. So please check that out, because I'm a proud Bama girl, and just check out everything else that Women's Wrestling Talk has going on. We are awesome.
Don't let the smile fool you, y'all. Just a little FYI.
Stop it. You trying to make it look like I'm a gangster.
Oh my gosh, y'all! I am so I'm happy for y'all to be on this panel. I'm happy for y'all to be part of Women's Wrestling Talk. I am happy for this interview we have on Wednesday. Ruby Soho, this Wednesday on Fight TV. Whew, she was amazing, and I just want to kind of give it like just a quick tidbit. Like, she was amazing, and I don't want to shade any promotion, but WWE didn't let her shine. And now I have a new, like I couldn't really get into her. Now, like, after doing the research and listening to other interviews and then just kind of talking to her, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I get it now. Like, I can actually, like, sink my teeth into her. So definitely listen to that interview. It's not one of those I got your interviews. It's not going to be like we're bashing WWE. We don't even talk about WWE. So definitely check out that interview. That's going to be this Wednesday on Fight TV at 7 p.m. Eastern. So definitely check that out. And then you can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. I am low key. That's, you can compare and contrast. Just, let me know. I did post a couple thirst traps here and there, but it's not to the level as Nickie. So, I am low key. Yeah, but you can follow me on everything. Say what's up.
Yeah, everybody's around here saying they low key. I'm definitely low key. I got 6 photos on my Instagram, and that's how you're gonna get out of me. Don't look at me like that, nigga.
Those people are the worst. The one who has like the 6 photos, because you have to go into their archives, and then you see where it is. Like, they post this shit, you go to the archives.
I am very low key. Like, I rarely have any selfies. I rarely got any videos. Everybody got photos. Majority of my stories, you may see my baby daddy Pete Dunne on there. You may see like, you may see me posting everybody's articles and stuff. Just being in my position, just doing the editor-in-chief thing. I post the writers, they write, and I share it. That's all that I do. I don't do nothing else. Y'all barely gonna see me. Rarely see me. I'm definitely the low-key one here. But
Stephanie's face.
I just know out of all y'all, I don't think I'm pretty low-key at all. I feel like I post something almost every other day. Not even if it's not just me, just working stuff and podcast stuff. So
I'm very low key. I am the queen of low keyness. I've beaten everybody. But you guys can follow me on Instagram if you want. Santana Muse. I mean, I don't know what you're gonna find there, but whatever you choose to go, that's great. You can follow me on Twitter at Driune, where I am the most controversial person on Twitter. I am. I ain't even gonna get into it, but I definitely had a lot of Hit Row fans attack me last week, but we're not gonna get into it. But that means I did my accomplishment for the day because they proved my point. But yeah, you can always find me on Twitter at Driune, Driune. That's pretty much it. I mean, I write articles from time to time. I'm on here hosting from time to time. That's pretty much all that I kind of do. I don't really do that much. I don't think I do. Majority of the time I'm working, listening to people yell in my ear about their light bill, but that's about it. Why is everybody looking at me like that? It's not believable. It's just like me trying to be a baby face and nobody believes me. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. I am so thankful. We're gonna go ahead and close this out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We global, we everywhere. You type in Women's Wrestling Talk, the website, and everything that belongs to us, it's gonna pop up. You can Google us, okay? Like it ain't no hard to find. Instagram, Twitter, wherever, it's WW Talk Pod. Make sure you definitely check out the website. We got a lot of new things happening. Get ready for the new year. So I hope you guys are prepared, because when we say we're the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet, we mean that, stamped and approved. Okay, so get into it. All right.
Okay. Damn. Can you move to LA, be my hype woman? Jeez, I'm ready to work now. Let's go.
Yeah.
Damn,
Maybe
okay.
what I need for the next few hours.
All right, guys. See y'all next time.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.